And so my name is Eddie. I'm one of the co-founders here at Activity Messenger. And today on the webinar, we're going to talk about birthday parties. So if you're on the call, you're probably, running a sports or kids program, gymnastics, dance, whatever it might be. And you might be, running birthday parties. So if you're doing it, you probably know that it's not the easiest thing to do. Those can be pretty tricky. So we'll go through a few things on how to promote them, plan them, automate the process, and then obviously the part where you celebrate and make the party the best. That's kind of more under your control. So the agenda for today, we're going to talk about the best marketing strategies we're currently seeing with our clients to attract more party booking, how we're going to simplify it. So you want to do great marketing, but you also want to make it extremely easy to register and have all the add-ons that you need on a booking calendar. The money question is always important. So how do we collect money? Do we collect money online? Do we want deposits, automations, things like that? And once, a parent registers or books a birthday party, what are the next steps, right? So there's obviously this time between the booking and when you are going to offer that birthday party. So what happens during that time? One of the things we recommend is sending personalized invitations. So you want to go above and beyond and give tools to the parent who's booking the birthday to send out invitations. And that's only also going to help you as the operator manage the guest because you'll have a nice attendance list. And as soon as they send the personalized invitations, we're going to see that they're going to be able to sign the waivers as well, right? So that's going to be a much easier for you, which will help you after that deliver really great experience on that big day, on that birthday party. And hopefully from there, you can build loyalty and even have some post birthday party marketing to help, create a momentum from that birthday party, whether it be for more birthday parties, but a lot of times that momentum could be created with all these kids coming into your programs for the birthday party. They've never been with you in your camp or your other activities, and then this kind of event is just kind of a trigger to maybe register with you for other programs. And we'll talk about how we can automate birthday messages as well, just to kind of as a nice touch for your clientele. So, some of the best marketing strategies to attract more bookings, making your offer visible. And the reason we talk about that is that a lot of times our clients' birthday parties is a very small proportion of their revenue, right? They're not only doing revenue with birthday parties, a lot of times it's on Saturdays, Sunday afternoons where it's not as good of a time to do programming that they have these open spots, right? So they want to make the most of their rent, of their location, but it's usually not the first thing that comes to mind. So it could be sometimes tricky to talk about it because there's so many other things going on, right? So you want to make it as more visible as possible. So you want, booking page on your website, you want to talk about it on social media and other things like that. Now, for us though, it is something that happens once a year, right? Nobody has two birthdays in a year. If you have a few kids, then yes, but what you want to be able to do is using email marketing to get more birthday parties, right? And the really interesting about thing about that is we are able to automate that 6 to 8 weeks before that child's birthday, right? So, and I'll show you the whole automation, but instead of getting, talking about in your newsletter everywhere else, every parent from a specific age range will get a personalized email weeks before the child's birthday, just saying, hey, here are different booking packages. If you're thinking about doing something for your child's birthday and inviting their friends, we have a really, really good offer you should look into, right? So by getting it in that way, parents are getting it exactly at the right time. And that's been one of the strategies that we've seen some people like really, really see an increase in the registration because we're sending it at the right time. The other thing I think that's interesting too is like I've ran some birthday parties before and they're not the easiest. And obviously, the more time you have to prepare and find staff and maybe even reallocate locations or resources, the better it is as an organizer, right? So it's not a bad idea to have a discount. Say, hey, if you book your birthday, 2 months in advance, well, we'll give you this discount. What that's also going to do is help you book those afternoons right away, right? So you might be able to offer your staff, a whole like 1 to 5 p.m. time because you booked 2 or 3 birthdays in that span, and then you give them, not just a 1 hour birthday to kind of come back on their shifts, right? So that allows for getting the revenue early, making sure you're prepared, and then getting the right staff there. Other interesting stuff shared on social media. So you never know where people are at in social media. Maybe they just had a birthday party with one of your competitors and it didn't go well, right? And then they just see your post and be like, oh, I'm gonna remember for next year, or I'm gonna sign up for the newsletter. So I tried at that place because I had a great experience at their camp, right? So just kind of talking about on social media, because it's not the main way in most cases on how people interact with your business or the types of services they're used to doing on on with your business. It's really important to kind of keep talking about it on social. And another one that I'm very, very kind of that I find very important are the QR codes, right? So you have these families that are coming in and out of your center day, weekly, sometimes almost daily, or they're coming in very often. And again, two things I like to do is surveys. It's a great way to scan to fill out a survey to know how you're doing, but also birthday parties. Hey, looking to book a birthday party. So for example, I'm coming in for a gymnastics class and my kid's having a blast. I'm watching and he's gonna be 8 in a few weeks, right? And then at the front desk, there's like, oh, what is that, right? So they can scan and scroll through all the details about your offering as they're watching their kid having the time of their life, right? So I think that's a very good timing for them to be looking for it and then be like, oh yeah, why would I go elsewhere? My kid loves it here, right? But if it's not shown physically during parents' visits at your center, you're not getting as much, visibility for those birthday parties. Um, Visibility marketing, super important, but you also want to make it as simple as possible to register, right? And I always think you need an up-to-date online calendar so people can actually see when the dates are possible. They can compare it to their calendar, be like, oh yeah, that weekend, we're celebrating with family, but the weekend after that, why not have a crazy party with all his best friends, right? So allowing that up-to-date calendar is really important. You also want to make it extremely easy to book online, right? Because this is the kind of stuff you get excited about. You're like, wow, it's gonna be awesome. My kid's gonna love it. Like you want them to be able to go put the deposit, reserve their spot in a few clicks, and not have to, I'll get home, I'll do it on my computer or whatnot, right? And then you also want to kind of create some automations, right? Just have it easily kind of on your schedule as people are booking so you allocate the staff the best way, but also the person who's booking be able to add it to their calendar, right? And then start inviting people for that special day. And now that they want to book, one thing I think is actually really interesting is like how do you offer payment, right? So one of the things I always recommend is go with credit card. It's just the best way to kind of take the payment right away, at least for the deposit. But in some cases, you might want people to do all that stuff, but get invoice and all that, but do it on offline. And the reason for that is that maybe you're in a situation where you don't have a time slot fully allocated, right? Or you have to call someone to make sure that area or that party room is available, right? So in those cases, it's better not to take the payment up front, but you'll get a notification, you can contact everybody, and then right away send tell them, hey, here's the link to pay online once you made those verifications. And the other thing we see a lot is the ability to have a deposit, and I'll show that a bit later. But let's say I make $100 deposit on a $300 party. I can then automate a payment to go out 14 days or 7 days before the birthday, right? So I'm coming in, I'm booking a little bit, and as the day comes close to it, automatically your credit card is charged with the remainder before coming to the party. And especially if you're doing offline payments or even credit card payments, let's say the credit card is expired, you want to be able to track that and then quickly communicate with parents. A lot of times SMS is a better way to just kind of text them, say, hey, for whatever reason, second payment did not pass by. Can you go in and pay this? I need this before we can officially, set up your birthday. Okay, so they paid, everything's good, the automation's set up, they know they're gonna get a payment 14 days before the birthday. What's next, right? And in most cases, I know when I used to do birthday parties quite a few years ago, there was kind of a bit of a gap, right? They got a confirmation email. Now what should I expect? What's gonna happen? Who's coming? All that kind of stuff. And then you want to fill in that gap, right? So they're gonna get the confirmation email, but right after they're gonna get, hey, so happy you chose us. Here's a personalized invitation that you can send out to every child you want to attend, right? So for me, that's a really nice kind of service you're giving that parent. It's like, wow, okay, cool. I don't need to go design something. I don't need to reach out. All I gotta do is forward an email to my list of the friends I want to invite. That sounds great, right? So they take that email, they forward it, and everything you see here, like child name, start date, and time, are called placeholders, and they will automatically, have those placeholders filled out. And so the person's going to see it, and then you're going to have confirm my attendance. Confirm my attendance is going to do a few things. First of all, it's going to allow that person to go straight to an attendance list so you can track who's coming to the birthday? Are they, did they say they booked a birthday for 15 and now they got 25 people coming? So you can adjust that beforehand and know that, wait, like, hey, you're gonna need to pay an extra, cool, but I'm also gonna need more staff, right? So those are all things that happen to me personally. So I know like it's not a fun thing to discover on the first day, on the day of the birthday, sorry. So that's gonna build a nice list. And really interesting too is that that list is gonna be shareable with parents if you want to. So as a booking parent, all I gotta do is forward that email, and then I'm gonna see people trickle in as to who's coming, and then that's really cool. So you can kind of create some anticipation before the party, saying, "Hey, like, Johnny said yes, this person said yes," and you can even follow up. That parent could be able to follow up with like the two, three who said, "Oh, I can't come," right? Or, "Hey, have you reserved?" "Oh yeah, I forgot. Yes, I can come. I'll go reserve," right? So they'll be able to kind of know who's coming in advance. And for you as an organizer, you will have all these people when they click go through your waiver, right? Because what happens during birthday parties, you'll have 4 or 5 of their best friends that's already, in your dance studio or your swim club or your gymnastics club. But then it's going to bring in all these people from outside, right? That have never interacted with your business. And they're going to come in and do a circus and do backflips. I don't know, whatever the birthday is. And it's like, well, I need them to sign a waiver, right? So a lot of times those are still done on paper or they're all done at the front desk when people walk in. But why not have that pre-done, right? So your staff, when they check people in for the birthday, they're going to know that everybody on that list, the only reason they can get on that list is by signing the waiver. So if somebody comes in and says, "Oh, can my, younger child participate?" and you're still within your ratios, you can say, "Yeah, no problem. Scan this QR code, sign the waiver because you're not on the list right now." And then you can make sure you're, fully backed in terms of security and waivers. And then the day of, smooth check-in, really easy to check people in. You can even have a QR code at the front where people can scan, making it even easier. It's going to track real time, so you'll know who's there. That could be really interesting too, because if a party comes in and they're supposed to be 16 and then there's only 8 kids there, maybe you adjust your party to like have the funner part more towards the end, or you can adjust those things or wait a bit longer before getting started. And it also gives you easy communication. So for whatever reason, that morning there's construction in front of your center and there's a 15-minute detour, right? Like, what a great way to kind of communicate with all the parents saying, "Hey, you're coming to this birthday this afternoon. Make sure to come earlier because we have a 15-minute detour around the center." And then you're not, everybody's rushing and you can really add that, that reminder be a really good experience for both the organizer, but even the parents and the kids attending. Um, and then, what else? What else can we add, right? So maybe there's, challenges, scavenger hunts, a bunch of stuff you can do, activities adapted to allergies or preferences. So those are all questions you can ask beforehand, or even upsell, right? What else do I want to, like, you can have a surprise that's added at the end, or decorations, or a cake, right? So those are all options we can add to the registration. So you know well in advance and you're upselling your birthday, right? You're not just like, "Okay, cool, I want a birthday. Okay, what else can?" No, you have it all on the form and they can pick and choose as they register. And the last thing before I jump into the tool, um, market birthdays are a magic way, amazing way to have new clients come into your center, right? They've never came, now they come to a birthday, and then what happens during birthdays, a lot of times parents stay and look at what's going on and they love it. So they're like, "Oh, how can I then, how else can I? My kid loves it. Maybe I can sign up for a program or a summer camp or his own birthday," right? So the ability to kind of reach out to those people who came through and give them a thank you email, trying to stay in touch and giving them an offer for them to come back into, another positive experience at your center is a great way to kind of just use that birthday not only as a revenue generator, but also as a lead magnet for the rest of your operations. And yeah, like I was saying at the beginning, why not have an automated birthday message just saying, "Hey, happy birthday" to everybody in your account, goes a long way. So at the end of the day, what we're trying to do, it doesn't have to be overwhelming. I know from my experience, it was overwhelming in the past, just finding locations, not having all these automations done. Just felt that when I started the birthday, there's so much to take care of that I couldn't focus just on the child's birthday and giving the best experience. And that's what we're trying to automate and make as simple as possible for you as the organizer, reassuring the parents, and then making sure your coaches or staff can really just focus on creating unforgettable experiences for their kids at that age, because I think there's a small window where parties with your kids are fun. You're old enough but not too old. So you want to really make sure those are great experiences. So I'm gonna drop off from this share screen. I'm gonna go back and share now how we would do that in the platform. So if any of you are not clients of Activity Messenger, you'll kind of see how what that looks like. All right, we're back. So in my opinion, birthday parties really the most important thing is the party booking form, right? You want to be able to streamline that so that people can sign up online and do it. And the way we have this built is a very simple drag and drop form. You can add your images and all that stuff, but we'll have a calendar, right? With specific rules for this birthday. So what are those rules? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an event called Kids Birthday Party, give it a price, and there's only going to be one spot because I'm only offering one spot for this type of birthday. If you have two spots, you just put it at two, but you just want to make sure there's no double booking, right? And then we're going to add a schedule. Now the schedule is going to be whatever you want to offer in. So for example, this is like a fictitious gymnastics center that offers birthday parties at 1 and 3 p.m. on Saturdays and Sundays. So all I got to do is create all those dates, and then people are gonna be able to pick and choose which they want. Um, and other cool things that you can do that I find really interesting is you can have your whole dates for the whole year, but you will be able to limit the number of days in the future somebody can book, right? So maybe you don't want to have people booking in September for a birthday in April because you don't know you might have an event on that day. You're still so you can have that schedule out, but then only have it like, X number of weeks or months before. And you can also stop selling them, right? So if you do birthdays, you never would want to sell a birthday at 9 a.m. in the morning and then at 1 p.m. there. You don't have your staff, you're not ready, all that stuff. But I would argue you might not want to sell it on the Friday before the Saturday, right? So maybe you would say, hey, you need to book this 7, 14 days, 3 days before, because I need to turn around, make sure the room is ready, make sure my staff knows that you're coming in and all that kind of stuff, right? So we have both long term that you don't want too long in it, but also not too short in advance. So we can create those workflows. And that's sometimes a lot of times, sorry, it's those reasons that people don't want to put them online. They're like, yeah, but what if they do too much in advance or what they do, last minute, right? But we have the rules here to make sure that that doesn't happen. And obviously there, the person's going to put in their information. The child's name is going to be important because that's going to be a placeholder that's going to be sent to the invitation. And they will be able to sign, the contract between you and the organizing parent for that specific birthday party. It's another place where you can add some add-ons. So probably wouldn't be selling leotards, but whatever add-on you would want, they would be able to kind of put them as they're booking the birthday. So you could do some nice upsells as well on the form. So that's kind of the creation of the form. Now, once your form is created, you're going to want to promote it, right? And I just wanted, we spoke about a lot of ways of promoting it, but one of the best ways is by email, right? So this automation basically creates a template that will be automatically sent out to a specific list of people based on their age, saying, hey, first name, we throw the best parties in town. Your child's birthday is coming up in a few weeks. You want to book a birthday party. It's a very short email here, but you might have all the different types of birthday parties. So you want to like prompt it up to be like, hey, we really have some cool stuff. Check them out. Click here to book. Just that automation is going to bring a lot of people in. What we recommend doing is you want to go, maybe 4 to 8 weeks. I would say 6 to 8 weeks before that child's birthday. So just at a time where people are thinking about it or should be thinking about it if they want to organize something, and maybe even more in advance. That template is extremely easy to move along. So drag and drop, you can add more text, images, and things like that. And you're going to be able to create lists. So this one's really, really nice where I can go in and say, pick all my clients and all my programs, right? But I want to filter in this automation to only send this automation 7 or 8 weeks before the birthday, but only to the people within this range, right? Because you probably have some, competitive athletes that are 16 that's like they're probably not doing birthdays at a gymnastics club anymore, right? Or you have parent and child programs for 3-year-olds where you're like, kind of works for the session, but a birthday party, only 3-year-olds, like we don't do those, right? So you want to kind of limit that as well. And the cool part about that is that if a child, so for example, I don't have an example here, but somebody's 8 years old, they're going to get it this year. Next year, they're 9 years old. They're not getting that automation anymore. Same thing. I was 3 this year. I didn't get that. But now next year, I'm 4. Poof, I start getting those messages, right? So it brings people into the automation within that bracket of age and it removes them as well, right? So once you do this automation, it just kind of goes over away and it really segments and sends it to the correct people. Um, so this works. You're starting to get all these birthday parties. Awesome. You're super happy, more revenue, everything's going well. But then that person who books, what do we do, right? So they will get the nice confirmation email about when the birthday is, all that kind of stuff. But they're also going to get a second email saying, hey, you got the birthday with us. Now start inviting people. And we have this amazing invitation, right? It's gonna have your logo on it, which will do great marketing. And it's just such a cool service for that booking parent. It's a lot of work on your end, but the person booking your birthday, the parent, that's a lot of work for them as well. They got to think about so many things. If you can streamline that for them and make it look nice, they're going to be so happy. So they get that message like, wow, that's awesome. They forward it to all 20 parents that want to invite the kids in, right? So those parents are going to get it. And then all they got to do is click on count me in. They have all the details and the placeholders are all going to be based on that specific event. Now, when they click on count me in, what that's going to do is open up a waiver, right? So it's really cool. They're going to go in and they're going to have to sign the waiver to be able to confirm their presence there. So everybody's like, yeah, I'm coming to that birthday. That's going to be awesome. They click on it, they sign the waiver. And as soon as they click on agree and submit, or, I'm coming, whatever call to action you have here, it will automatically be added. And I don't think I have it open to the birthday that specific birthday, right? So that form, that email, they're all linked to a specific event. And this is my kid's birthday party. You're gonna see all the ones coming up, but they're only gonna be added to the specific birthday, from who they're invited. So that's gonna help you track how many people are coming. First of all, see, are they busting that they said they were gonna be 8 and they're 16, right? So you can have that conversation before it happens at the club, but it's also gonna we're gonna be able to give this access to the person organizing the party so they can see in real time who confirmed their presence, right? And that's super fun. Every night they can go check with their with their kid and be like, hey, Jamie's coming, ID's coming. That's awesome. They're all excited. But it's also gonna help them reach back out to the 4 or 5 people who said they were coming but never filled it out. Be like, hey, are you coming? I just want to make sure. We want to know how much cake, how much pizza to order. Oh yeah, yeah. And then they can send them back the email, and then people will be added automatically. And this is amazing as well because on the day of, you will come in and you'll be like, hey, this is my. Oh, I skipped the French. Sorry, let me go back to the English. So yeah, and then it's gonna show you the list of everybody there as your staff. They can check people in, check them like just to see like, hey, everybody's checked in. And if for whatever reason somebody showed up but did not confirm their presence, your staff will be able to say, "Hey, sorry about that. You're not there yet. You haven't signed the waiver yet. Please, I'm going to share a QR code on my phone. Just scan this, sign the waiver, and then you let them in." Right? So that's like one of the really cool ways to streamline that whole process. You're gonna have so much more information before the party comes in. It's just gonna limit, the exchanges and the running around that, birthday parties always have running around, but we're gonna limit it and make it a lot simpler. And the last thing is you'll be able to, oh, there it is, wrong place. Give me just a second. Um, I wanted to talk about, yeah, the thank you after. So awesome. The part of you giving the birthday party, you guys are the best. You guys are probably giving already rock star kind of birthday parties. And then it's a great way, like I was saying earlier, to promote to people that are not clients yet. So you can then go back and say, hey, I hope you had a great time. We're really happy you guys came over. Because you came to the party, we just want to give you a 15% discount birthdays, camps, or classes, right? So it just gives you that kind of like promotion after the party to kind of help hook the people right after they got such a great experience with your coaches to come back for other reasons. That's it for me. So that was just kind of the overview of the platform. I'll open up for questions if there's anybody that has any questions. And I'll stop the recording here actually. Just stop that now.